the first petal gently around itself and just slowly, gently squeeze it into shape. Pick up the second petal, wrap it around the first, and just tease it around the center. I use a ball stylus this time for the second petal. Just gently nudge it around the edges. You just have to use the slightest touch and it will start to spread out. Moving on to the third petal, I use a needle tool to pick up the petal so that I don't squish it on the towel. And I look for the side with which touched the tile because it is smoother and does not have my fingerprints. Again, I wrap it on the opposite side of the second petal, and I use my ball stylus again to slowly, gently tease open the petal. I'm now here looking for a gap to place the next petal. I slowly roll it around my first three petals. As you can see, it's slightly torn, but that's fine because you can always use your stylus to nudge it into place. And again, I'm repeating the process, just gently spreading open the petal. It only requires the slightest touch, really. So now, I think this is my fifth petal. Yeah, you can see in the background I'm trying to pick it up with the needle tool. So add your next petal. If you find it difficult to use your needle tool, just do what I did and pick it up with my fingers. You can see a bit tore off, but that's fine because that's going to be squished together at the base of the rose. Here I use my needle tool instead of the ball stylus because the petal is getting bigger. So I find it easier to tease it open. If you notice, some rose petals have a bit of a point as well. So I try and kind of fold it gently over into a point, as you can see here. And just gently bring it up in the center of that petal. It's a slight triangular shape. And here I use my fingers to just slightly squeeze it, define it. As the petals get bigger, I find it a little bit more difficult to pick it up with my tool or manipulate it. So it's also a little harder to position sometimes. So I just pick it up with my fingers, as you can see here. Sorry about that, that was out of view. There you go. I place it, I try and align the center of the petal to the gap between the last two petals. And again, the ball stylus. So here's just another way of teasing the bigger petals. Slide it across the edge, smoothing it open. So I'm adjusting the one of the previous petals. Notice I'm always holding the pinch together base. Now I've picked up another petal. This one is slightly pointed because I squished it that way, not deliberately, but it doesn't really matter. You can see that after you stick it to the rose, you can just slightly fold it over and it's barely noticeable. It gives the rose a little bit more, I'm not sure how to say it, it just folds over quite nicely as well. So now we are ready to cut it, and we'll use a razor blade. You can cut it closer to the petals, a little higher up if it's on a cake. Otherwise, just cut it slightly lower for placement on the stalk.